Banana box frogs now too, so those animals that have been transported down on vegetables and fruits that people find in supermarkets, they end up
Coles
with us as well.
and
Coles and
yeah,
stuff.
absolutely.
So we get all those.
So the banana frog is just what?
Most commonly it's a little dainty tree frog or graceful tree frog.
Okay.
But we've currently got a couple of eastern dwarf frogs in. We get green tree frogs in. We've had white lips in. I've had, what else have I had? I've had banjo frogs, I've had southern brown frogs. So we get quite a variety of different species. And so when they come in, when they're brought in, they all get vet checked. And if they're deemed that there's something there that can't be fixed or it's going to require extensive ongoing treatment, sounds awful, but those get euthanized. It's not fair to be able to rehome those to people, that sort of thing. So thankfully, it's part of it. So, thankfully, it's by far a minimal problem. We don't get all that. It's something like 90. I think we're up to about 98% of the animals that we get through are rehomed. So they'll get vet checked, they get microchipped, and then we have a ballot system where we have a Facebook page called Homeless Herps, and we put them up onto the Facebook page. The ballot runs for a couple of days. People that they're interested can enter the ballot. Once the ballot closes, we use a piece of software that will randomly select someone.
I wasn't exactly sure.
So it's completely random.
So you're not individually picking.
So there's no favoritism or anything like that. In fact, I don't even know the names of the people when we're actually doing it. They all get numbered and randomised, and it spits out a number. And then we find out who that person is. And then there's some paperwork that we've got to go through. They'll require a form to be filled out. But it's all
this is it takes some time.
It takes some time. Well, I actually have a nurse that is rostered for 5 hours a week, exclusively just to look after homeless herps. But everybody does stuff through the week, but she has dedicated time. So we actually pay her to do homeless herps. And so how we pay her, it comes from, we have an adoption fees for the animals, and that adoption fee varies. It depends on the species and that sort of stuff. Because if we get a green tree python in, which I have had, I'm not going to put that up for $50.
Absolutely not.
Whereas we get a coastal carpet, which are pretty common, they might be $50 type sort of thing. So I look at the market value of what they are, and I look at what's involved in keeping the animal and that sort of stuff. And so we choose an appropriate adoption fee based on the species that we're dealing with. And then when that ballot's done and the paperwork's sorted, people come in, as I said, they're microchipped and they're put onto a national database. And we have to obviously report those details back to the relevant department. And with that license, it's all run because I have what's called a vagrant permit, so I'm allowed to take in non-licensed animals into my vagrant permit and then rehome them that way. So we've been running it now for about 2.5 years, and we're up to nearly 600 animals have come through the system.
Wow.
So it's quite, it can get quite busy.
That is a lot.
I was thinking we might get one or two a month. No, we would get one or two a week.
Especially now, it's the COVID pits. And
correct. And it's
breeding.
That's right, and it's real variance. We've had animals that have obviously been dumped. They've been found in a cardboard box in the middle of a park, for example. That animal's been dumped. We've got animals that have escaped and have managed to get out of their enclosures. We've got animals that have come from, classic one is the banana box frogs, where they've come from areas where, they normally live natively, but they've come down to Victoria, to Melbourne, where they can't be released and that sort of stuff. And so
you might get a coastal taipan one day.
Well, we've had a mulga snake, and we've had I'm going to say 1 or 2 red-bellied blacks that have come through. So they're always interesting. I've had a death adder. Somebody turned up at a pet shop. The staff turned up at a pet shop, and there was a box at their front door. And they opened the box, and in the box were a couple of bags. And they opened the bags, and there was a children's python and a diamond python. And the next bag they opened was a death adder.
That's scary.
There was nothing on the outside of the box.
No warning.
Someone had just dumped this at the front door of a pet store, and you just sort of go, hello,
it's a loaded gun.
That is literally. So thankfully,
it's scary.
And we rehomed that. It was actually.
And this is why licenses are out there and rules and regulations, because there's stuff like that would be out of control without some sort of policing. I'm all for that sort of stuff.
So, but it takes a lot of time, but we enjoy it. We get to deal with some pretty cool animals that come through at the time, And it's sort of my little way, I guess, of giving back a bit to the community that sort of allowed me to grow a business structure around reptiles.
No, it's always amazing work. You also sponsored the VHS Expo along with me.
I've been doing that for a number of years.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's been good.
Great organisation. We did a great show with them not too long ago. So it was fantastic with Vince and Adam and everyone else down there. We asked this question, sometimes I forget, but this one probably doesn't really, because you've been around the world and you go around the world. But if you go anywhere around the world for a working holiday to learn something or to teach something,
where would I go?
Where would you go? Where have you been?
My 2 bucket list places that I haven't been yet. One is absolutely the Galapagos Islands.
Yes.
I came very, very close when I was a teenager. I did a tall ship, so I was on the tall ships.
Oh, what? Wow.
Yeah, and I got to sail on those back in 1988, the bicentennial. But there was actually a sailing one that was going to the Galapagos, and there was 24 people chosen, and I was number 27 as a reserve. I didn't make it, but I have some colleagues of mine that through the veterinary industries and that sort of stuff that do a lot of work in the Galapagos, and one of these days I'm hoping to score a free trip to go and do some work with tortoises over there. So that's one place.
That'd be awesome.
And Madagascar is the other one that I'd love to go. And just
one of my favourite places. The Madagascar documentary I watch all the time over and over. It's just amazing. It's got the pygmy chameleons. Absolutely tiny. You'd step on it. You would. So 2 places I would love to go to as well. Actually.
But I've been pretty lucky. I've been.
And we haven't had them answers.
No, really, no one's chosen.
But we've had America, Africa,
sort of stuff,
all sorts of places.
I definitely, if I could leave tomorrow to go to Galapagos, I'll be gone. And I've got a friend of mine, and she actually has a vet clinic in a house in Ecuador, and she has already offered for me to go over there and do some work with her in Ecuador, and then she'll take me over to Galapagos.
Mate, there you go.
I'm going to hit her up one of those days.
You can tell your wife it's working holiday. It's a working holiday. That's what I tell my wife. She's over there at the moment. She's doing a good job with the cameras. Is that still going? So fantastic. Usually my son Shannon helps out with the cameras, but got the wife this time. I think we've covered lots of things, and I'd like to, if we could, have a look around and maybe just give us a little tour of the place. And thanks very much for being on the show. And we can do part 2, maybe in series 2 or series 3.
So the ultrasound, we do a lot of work for sexing of animals with ultrasound, a lot of abdominal scans on bunnies and those sort of things that we use it for. So it's a pretty cool tool. And the good thing now with the technology, it's all integrated. So our practice management system, where we build everything out, write all the histories, it's sending across here, we get the images and it goes back into the histories, and it keeps it all together, which is really, really nice. So that's another cool little toy that we have sort of through here. And then even here, we haven't actually looked at this machine here. This is the endoscope. So we do a lot of endoscope work. So this is putting cameras inside the body. And even though we've got the CT and we can actually do it with the CT machine, we still have the ability to be able to do this. And this is actually also very brand new. This is the only one of these in the country as well. So this is the newest version of this machine we got recently. So, and it does the most amazing 4K internal imaging and that. So, thought we might show you CT, a 3D reconstruction, and a bit of video. So this is a turtle that we had in, and I'll just bring up the file here, just to show you what this thing can actually do. So this is a wild turtle that came in with an obvious fractured shell, but here is an example of what we can actually do with it. So we've scanned this here, and it makes a 3D reconstruction. You can see its face and head there, and you can see this obvious fracture in the shell there. So and then using the settings and the processes with this machine, we can actually strip away the soft tissue and get right down into the bone, and then we can actually look inside this guy. We can rotate him. Let's turn it off. Let's fly inside this turtle. Let me just put this in the center of the screen so we can get in there. Let's go inside and have a look. So here we are flying inside the turtle, and just change this factor a little bit, and then we can rotate. We can look at his spine up here, and in this guy here we can actually see, when we're looking up through here, these bones here are part of its shoulder girdle, and you can see this one here has actually got a fracture in it. And so we were able to, and we didn't pick that up on X-ray. We X-rayed this guy as well, but we weren't able to see that on the actual X-ray. It wasn't until we did the CT here that we could see that we had that. So there's his little face. Yeah, so it's pretty amazing. And I've done animals down to 15 grams, so little dragons and things will get full 3D reconstructions sort of on them. And then playing around with the settings, I can strip away the bone and just end up with the lung. And in fact, this guy actually had a hemorrhage into the lung, which we were able to detect with the CT as well. So yeah, and this is a wildlife case, so this was just we were playing around with this one to see what the machine could do. But now it's, yeah, we do a lot of CT work here now, and you can see the resolution that we get. And next level from here would be, we've done some work with some wombats and kangaroos that are going to need facial reconstruction surgery, and so we can actually take that and do 3D printing of surgical implants to put into animals and do it that way. So that's sort of the level we get to at this place. It's pretty amazing. But this machine is just crazy. We love it. As I said, the donut of truth. It's awesome. So all right, we'll head down the corridor here.
Definitely my favourite room.
It's by far the most expensive room in the building. So this is our treatment room in here. So this is where sort of the main hub of the clinic, if you like. So we've got over here is our recovery and intensive care cages. So we've got these here so that if an animal comes in, we can have it so that everybody can see it pretty quickly. So these two little rabbits have had surgery today. I think they've had desexing procedures, so they're just waking up from their anaesthesia at the moment. And up in the box here, we've got a big wild turtle that's come in with an old shell fracture and a new fracture. I'm just having a read of the history here from the emergency centre. So there's a big turtle. So come here, let's have a look at you. So yeah, so she's got that old fracture through there. And there's a new one here in the bridge. So actually looks like it might be a male. So that's a big turtle, big old turtle, that one. So we might pop that through the CT machine later if we get a chance and just see, make sure there's no injuries inside. That's probably not going to need any specific treatment. This guy will get some pain relief, and we'll be able to send it off to a wildlife carer and get that released as quick as possible. So that's a beautiful big turtle. Look at that. That's the size of my hand compared to that. That's a big old turtle, that one. So, and then we've got our sort of our breeding unit here, which does oxygen and temperature, and so we use that for our critical care cases. Dental machine here, this is for cleaning up ferrets' teeth, and I use that for shell fractures. One of the techniques I use, we need to use the high-speed dental drill to clean out the material out of the shell fractures. So that's a nice little unit that we use for that. But we've also got all our sort of lab equipment through here. We've got microscopes and all sort of stuff in here, and we've got internal blood machine. So this machine here does the bloods, so we can get results back in sort of 10-15 minutes on work that we're doing. And this little machine here is a new tool that we've got. This is called an imagist, vet scan imagist. What's really cool about this is we can actually take a sample from an animal, like a lump or a blood smear or something like that, put it through here, scan it as a digital image, and send it through on their platform, and we can get a pathologist, qualified specialist pathologist, to look at those results, and we have answers back in about, well, can be sometimes within 10 minutes, and so it's been quite useful. We weren't sure how it was going to go, but it's actually been really good. And quick too, so we can have something in hospital for the day and we get results back on it really quickly. So yeah, but that's another new toy. There's always new toys. We like our toys here. So in here we've got, this is our surgery. So they've finished up with surgeries today, and we've got all sorts of machines in here. We've got ventilators, so things like reptiles, for example, when you put them under anaesthesia, they stop breathing, so you actually have to ventilate them there, so that little machine takes that. We've got drip machines, we've got patient monitors up here, so this does the heart rates and oxygen levels and carbon dioxide levels and all that sort of stuff. We've got our anaesthetic machine to the left of that, so that's what's delivering your oxygen and anaesthetic. Doppler machine for measuring heart rates in reptiles. And we use a range of iPad system here. We've got a whole anaesthetic charting system we use, and a big screen TV to see what's in hospital, and then all the surgical equipment and all the bits that go with that. So
this is the up and down, isn't it?
yeah, so there's actually a table that we can foot switch. Yeah, so none of this manual stuff. It's all
equipment.
Yeah, it's all electric. So and it goes up and down because
I'm geeking out. I'm blown away. I mean, I knew it was going to be like this from the whole surgery and from who you are and what you do.
Yeah.
But this is a lot higher again.
Yeah, we've done a lot of work on the building over the last couple of years with COVID.
And
we didn't have anybody in the building.
It comes out of hard work. To get here, to continue to manage. I tell people, it never gets easier.
No. And just when you think it does, then a new piece of equipment comes out and you've got to do that.
It's not hard when you retire.
No.
Lunchroom
out there, so we've probably got some stuff.
I don't know them hard-working staff members there having a good feed.
Get back to work. And then down the back here, so this is our hospital ward area and garage storage area. It's actually all planning. Sometime this year is all going to get redone, re-renovated and enlarged, so that we've got a bit more room. But yeah, so these are our custom-built cages. So these are all, the top ones have all got heat facility in them, and they're all actually ventilated. You can't really see it because they're black caging, but in the back of these is actually a fan suction unit that continually sucks air through them and evacuates them there. So lots of little chickens in at the moment. So one of the vets has gone on holidays and hatched a heap of chickens, and so he's left them with us. So for the week. So, but yeah. So here's some of our homeless herps animals that we've got in at the moment. So there's a little dwarf frog in here somewhere. Where is he? There he is. I'll get him open the top. So. A little eastern dwarf frog down there. So we've got a couple of those. They came in, they were on some plants in a nursery, and they're not native to the area, so they'll have to, they'll go up for adoption, and we'll get those rehomed. This is Licorice, our black-headed python. He's crook. I won't get him out at the moment, but we've got, we got a lot of eastern water dragons coming in that are either escaped pets or dumped, or there's a breeding population of them here in Melbourne. So this guy's gone up for adoption. And actually, I think he's been adopted. He's just been waiting to get picked up. So I like water dragons. I've got 5 of them myself. So they're pretty cool. I won't get that coastal carpet python out because it gets grumpy. But yeah, we've got all sorts of things. There's a Darwin carpet that's come in. So this was one that came in from. I think we actually got that one from Delp from memory. Yeah. So it was a. Surrender, I think it was, to Delp, took it on, and they called me and said, could I rehome it? It's a beautiful snake actually, that one. So,
yeah, it's got a nice colour to it too. Yeah. Can we open this up?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to open one of them up. So
have a look at that.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So in the back of that, we've got our heating unit. So we just use a little purple nighttime light to heat in there. And a little ventilation system in there, so we get fresh air being sucked in all the time. So we got some turtle tubs here. So these we custom built when we built the place, and so because we get a lot of turtles, and half the problem's draining the water out of something, so we actually got these tubs cut into the cabinetry, and so we can use the hose, fill them up, drain them. It's got the UV lights. We actually use mercury vapors above these guys, so we can have the turtles in there. We also use them for the dragons sometimes, sort of in there, but just from a hospitalisation point of view, it means we can keep things a lot cleaner and a lot easier. Cuts down the timing. You're not keeping turtles in tubs and having to lift down water and that sort of stuff. So
it's a great idea.
Yeah, they work. I'd actually
basic stuff like this you just sometimes don't think of.
Yeah, well, I must admit it's not my idea. I actually saw it on a Facebook page for a vet clinic over in Hong Kong. Actually had them set up, and we've now replicated that across in our other practices so that we do the same sort of thing, and it works really, really well. So.
And turtles stink.
Turtles stink.
Yeah. So just drain it straight away.
Drain the water, clean the water, because we don't want to have filters. We don't want to run the water between different cages. So it's just separate them out, and you just drain them out and flush them out when needed. So it works really well. So that big one that we saw before will end up in here until we get it fixed up and get it out. So.
All right, I think we've covered everything.
Yeah, good.
Thanks very much for being on the show once again. And where can people find you? We're going to have all your details in the description of this show, but just verbally.
Yeah, verbally. website, unusualpetvets.com.au. Facebook, we're huge on Facebook, so just Facebook / I think it's Unusual Pet Vets. You'll be able to find us. We have cases going up every day, and videos of all sorts of things, and Instagram as well.
Quickly.
That's the Pro Props.
Here we go.
In use, there we go. Yeah. So looking for the Pro Props, just give us a yell. So that's the snake.
And you pretty much just put into the mouth and turn it.
Yep. So you can get a good look down the mouth there. So we use them all the time. So.
All right, mate. Thanks very much. It's been an honour, and
my pleasure.
See you next time.
See you guys.